What up, guys? Your boy Quake and Suge Knight. He's been quite silent when it comes to everything that's going on with Diddy, but finally he broke his silence and decided to speak out on all the things happening with Diddy, especially the recent home raids that happened in Los Angeles and Miami. Those both homes that got raided, and then now a bunch of allegations from Lil Rod's lawsuit talking about extra stuff that Diddy's done, including hiring sex workers and all this trafficking and all the stuff that's going on. So Suge Knight has finally spoken on it, and it's on his podcast called Collect Call with Suge Knight. Of course, Suge Knight right now is locked up and serving a 28-year sentence for that time that he ran over that guy at the Straight Outta Compton movie set a while ago. So he's still serving that sentence, but through this Collect Call series, he can speak on current events and just things that's going on. And obviously, Suge Knight and Diddy have a long history that, you know, we all know spiraled into Tupac and Biggie getting murdered, a whole East Coast, West Coast beef. And I'm actually going over the whole Diddy conspiracy theory that he put $1 million hit on Tupac. I'm making a documentary on it, so that's going to come out on my channel in April called Diddy $1 Million Hit. And I actually break down Suge Knight and Diddy's relationship a lot better on there. So I'm not going to break down their whole relationship and history, but let's just say it went south after Suge Knight's friend Big Jake got killed in Atlanta back in September of 1995. So a while ago, started really from there, and then things kind of spiraled into, Pac eventually getting murdered and Biggie getting murdered. So what does Suge Knight have to say about Diddy? It's quite surprising, actually. A lot of it was positive and really sincere and just not really kicking Diddy down while he's down, surprisingly. So here is an outtake from that podcast. Let's play the clip and then talk about it a little bit more after.
Everybody been talking about the Puffy situation. First, I'd like to pray for his family, his daughters and his sons, his kids, basically. That's never a good sign for nobody to cheer about when it comes to kids or young men being handcuffed. It's a bad day for hip-hop, for the culture, for black people. Because when one looks bad, we all look bad. Because that's definitely not nothing to cheer about. But I tell you what, Puffy, your life is in danger. Because you know the secrets, who's involved in that little secret room you guys participating in. So, you know they're going to get you if they can. It's a little crazy how Puffy get booted out the alcohol business and Jimmy Iovine steps in with Andre and Snoopy promoting it. I turn myself in. Sometimes you got to face the music. That's most of the time. Puffy, I'm going to give you some real advice. 2 quick things. You got to make a decision. When you go to prison, either you're going to be standing up pissing or squatting, sitting down pissing. I advise you to try to take the first one, because if you're squatting, pissing on the seat, you know what that means. Oh yeah, by the way, do not do your time going by Brother Love. Brother Love is not a good code name for prison. I'm out.
So he starts it off with, being respectful, obviously sending prayers and love to Diddy's family, because they're going to be going through a lot if Diddy has to deal with getting arrested and facing, prison time. So obviously that's a great way to start out. And then he talks about hip-hop culture and just black culture in general and how it's a bad look, which I agree. In hip-hop, this is not the best thing to happen to hip-hop. But a lot of stuff that even Suge Knight was involved in wasn't the greatest thing to happen to hip-hop. So to be pointing that finger towards Diddy doesn't really make sense in my opinion, but I get what he means by that. It's not a good look, but it is a good look, and it is something to be cheerful of if Diddy actually did these things. If there's 100% valid proof, and he actually did all these horrible things to people, which is horrible things, then yeah, you cheer. You're excited for that because a bad person went to prison. Nothing's wrong with that. Another thing that I think Suge Knight doesn't really realize is that Diddy hasn't officially been charged criminally with anything. So he's not on the run. He can't turn himself in because the feds haven't charged him with anything. He's only been hit with lawsuits in a civil matter. And you can't, there's no arrest time for that. But criminally, if they do say, hey, Diddy, we have charges on you of all these sexual assault lawsuits and we have all these human trafficking charges that we're going to charge you with, and Diddy's on the run, then yeah, Suge Knight, telling him turn yourself in makes sense. In this case, it doesn't, because Diddy hasn't officially been charged criminally with anything. So let's make that clear. Diddy's not been charged with anything criminally yet. And then he goes on to give him basically prison advice. And he says, you either stand up when you go to the bathroom and you piss, or you sit down. And he's advising him do the stand up part of it, because if you're sitting down, they're basically going to treat you like a female in there. And new holes, let's just say, are going to get teared into Diddy. And then he says, change your name, and don't be Brother Love anymore, because Brother Love, that is not going to fly in prison. That's going to be something else. And, there's been accusations that Diddy does fly that way, so he might be actually in a great place in prison, surrounded by a bunch of men. So I don't know, but that was a funny kind of take from Suge Knight and advice to him in the situation. And then Suge Knight goes the normal Suge Knight route of doing conspiracy theories. And then he says basically that Diddy's life is in danger. And the reason why he says this is because Diddy apparently knows secrets. And because of that, they're going to get him if they can. With the Lil Rod lawsuit, there's allegations that Diddy recorded a lot of celebrities at his parties doing bad things. And he has a bunch of blackmail kind of video footage. So there's a lot of conspiracy theories going on that the police only raided Diddy's place to get those files so that politicians, other celebrities can get protected. And I can see that. Instead of calling it a conspiracy theory, I can actually see that being the truth in the situation. But, Diddy could also go down and say, hey, I know exactly who was at my parties. This is the people that did it. And, take a route that, could be Jeffrey Epstein type of route. So, Suge Knight's right in that aspect. And then the other interesting part is Diddy has dealt with liquor issues with Diageo. He ended up in a lawsuit with them where he claimed that, they weren't really promoting his liquor because it was more of minority liquor and they weren't doing the right part on him and, chipping out of different things. And so they ended up in a lawsuit there, eventually ended up selling it after all these sexual assault lawsuits came out. So he's saying, hey, they kicked Diddy out of the liquor company completely, cleared him out, and all of a sudden Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg got their own company, which is that gin and juice company that they just launched recently. So he's connecting those dots and saying they all had this planned out to have Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg, succeed in their own liquor, whatever. I don't know if it's a liquor. It's not really a liquor. It's a gin and juice drink. So it's alcohol, obviously, but it's not like what Diddy was making. It's a different type of market, but I can see where Suge Knight's going with that. And, Suge Knight's really good at connecting these dots and kind of making a conspiracy theory where people can throw a bunch of questions out. I'm not saying what he's saying is true or false, but what I am saying is just take it with a grain of salt, because Suge Knight has a podcast to promote. This is exactly what this video is doing, is actually promoting his podcast. So he's going to say things that are going to get people's attention and stuff like that. But, there is some truth to the fact that Diddy, has, things that he's tied into that deals with a lot of different people that are on high power. Former Bad Boy artist Mark Curry also predicted that Diddy isn't mentally strong enough to deal with going to prison, so he's just going to off himself instead of going to prison. That could be an actual route that Diddy might go, because, from being at the top billionaire to getting potentially locked up and facing, each trafficking charge is literally 25 years, each one. So you stack that all up, he's never getting out. So that's another route that's potentially going to, could unfold. It's going to get really, really messy if the feds actually found stuff that they can prosecute Diddy with. It's going to get really messy. So that's Suge Knight's take. Let me know what you guys think. Is he reaching in a lot of these things that he's saying? Is he speaking facts? There's a lot of different, views on a lot of stuff that's going on with Diddy, but Suge Knight's is always interesting because of the history he's had with Diddy. So be on the lookout for my Diddy $1 million hit documentary. It's coming out on the channel in April, where I break down the whole theory or conspiracy theory that Diddy put out $1 million hit on Tupac. So be on the lookout for that. Thank you guys as always, and we'll keep you guys posted on the next thing. That's it for today's video. If you guys want to support this channel further, you can do so at patreon.com youtube.com/diverse mentality. For just $3 a month, you can get my videos uncut and raw the way I intended them to be, but couldn't because of YouTube. Plus, you also get access to our Discord community, where we have a great community talking about hip-hop and various other things. It's very dope. So only $3 a month. I'd really appreciate the support. Also follow us on social media at QuakeGW and at Diverse Mentality. Thank you so much for the support, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.